Howdy y'all, I'm Katz, and today we're talking spheres, finally. So we, in a previous video, have already talked about how our increases affect the shape. So if we do staggered increases, we're gonna get something more circular, and if we do stacked increases, we're gonna get something that's more hexagonal. And now we're going to apply that same methodology to spheres. So first I'm going to talk about the basic formula about how we make spheres, show you the patterns of what that looks like when we use our stacked increases and our staggered increases, and then I'm going to show you a secret third thing, which is a way that people like to do spheres. So let's get started. So to do the basic sphere formula, which I'll put up over here, super simple. Pick how many rows you want, and then we're just gonna do 3 sections that all have that same row count. So we're gonna start with the row of increases. This one has 6 rows in it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows of increases. Then we have 6 rows of continuous, which is just going to be no increases or decreases in this row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we have our 6 rows of decreases to finish everything off. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And that's it. So you could do that for any size. Pick a number for how wide you want it, or work your piece until it gets as wide as you want it to be, and then start going up and then go down. Super simple. So let's see what that looks like with actual spheres. So here I've done our increases in that green, and then I also did that continuous row in the green. Throw the pattern up over here. So as we can see, this is going to be our stacked increase, and we're gonna again work in rows of 6 or sections of 6, pieces of 6. And yeah, so let's go over this. We've got our starting magic ring with the 6, then row of increases, a single crochet and an increase repeated, 2 single crochets and an increase repeated, 3 single crochets and an increase repeated, 4 single crochets and an increase repeated. And that's all of our increase rounds. Now we're gonna go to our continuous rounds, which aren't gonna have a stitch chain or a stitch amount change. So in this one, it's gonna be, 36 each round? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those continuous rounds. Now we do our 6 rows of decreases. So we'd start with 4 single crochets and a decrease, then 3 single crochets and a decrease, 2 single crochets and a decrease, 1 single crochet and a decrease, then full round of decreases, and then our closure. So one thing to kind of note is the closing of the sphere is considered as one of our rounds. Kind of think of it as like a reverse magic ring, right? So we start with the magic ring, we're gonna end with our reverse magic ring. And there's many ways to close off a sphere. The way that I like to do it, just a quick little primer, I guess, is thread the tail and then work into every stitch, the front loop of it only, going from the outside to the inside. And then we'll just do that all the way around. Then we'll cinch it up really tight, go through the middle of those stitches with the darning needle, and then just bury it in the piece. Pull it through, pull it tight, snip the yarn. The yarn just like pops back in, and then you got one of these guys. So we see what it looks like for our stacked. Let's take a peek at what it looks like for the staggered. So staggered pattern right over here. We'll talk through it, but it's exactly the same thing. So this one has 6 rows in it. We're gonna start with our increases, or magic ring, sorry. Then a row of increases, then 1 single crochet and an increase. And because these are staggered, our next row is gonna start with a single crochet and increase, then 2 single crochets and an increase all the way around repeated, ending with 2 single crochets. Then the row after that is an odd one, so it'll just be 3 single crochets and an increase. Then the row after that, because it's even, it's gonna be staggered. We're gonna start with 2 single crochets, an increase, then 4 single crochets and an increase all the way around, ending with 2 single crochets. We then have our 6 continuous rounds, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we have our decrease rounds, which is going to be just exactly the same. So because we're working in staggered, this first row is going to be 2 single crochets and a decrease, then 4 single crochets and a decrease, repeated all the way around, ending with 2 single crochets. Next one's an odd round, so it's just 3 single crochets and a decrease. Next one will be staggered, so a single crochet, a decrease, then 2 single crochets and a decrease, repeated all around, ending with a single crochet. Odd, so just 1 single crochet and a decrease, then a whole round of decreases, then we have our closure again, or that reverse magic ring. And that's it. So it works the same way. We've just put our decreases and our increases in a different location. And this pattern, like I said, works for any size that you're gonna do. For example, here's a little guy that I made. This one's only 3 rows, but it's the same principle, right? So we've got 1, 2, 3 rows of increases, 1, 2, 3 rows of continuous, then 1, 2, 3 rows to close it off. So let's take a peek of these compared together to see which one we find more around. Now, when we have them kind of built out like this, I think it's kind of hard to get a good visual. I would still say that this one kind of looks a little bit more, or stacked looks a little more faceted, but let's take a peek of them without any color changes or anything. So here we are. This one's going to be our stacked single crochets, and this one's going to be our staggered. And if we kind of twirl them around, I think that it's a pretty subtle difference, but this one does look a little bit more faceted. I'm not sure if you can tell on camera, but in person you can see. It's really subtle, but I think it's going to be something that you're going to notice more probably than somebody else. But good to know. So I think that this faceted one, the stacked increases, might be better if we're doing a lot of color work, just because it's kind of easier to plan out where the color stitches are going to go, because you can just follow the stitches down because they're all increasing in the same place. Whereas this one, you can still get the same beautiful color work done. You just kind of have to plan it out a little bit more because the stitches aren't going to be as easily lined up. But as I promised, there is a secret third option. And that third option looks like this. I will probably put up over there a picture of the website of the person that I use, but online there's a whole bunch of different calculators that you can use that'll show you how to make the perfect sphere, that take into account like your stitch height and your stitch length based on the yarn you're using, how big you want the circumference of your sphere to be. But this one over here is the one that I like to use. In the blog post, she kind of goes over how she found out the math for this, and then also includes PDFs, which I'll have both a link to the website and a link to the PDFs in the description. But the PDFs have the spheres of different sizes in there. I think it goes small to fairly large. Because it's not a same pattern when you're going up, each one is slightly different, so it's important to have them all written out. And you get something like this, which is really cool. I think it is more spherical. We'll take a look at it in a second by itself. But as you can see, these increases are kind of all over the place. I think in all of the patterns, there's only one row that doesn't have any increases in it. Oh, one more thing that I'd like to mention about the patterns. Most of them, there must have been a typo on the PDF. So at the end for each sphere, it kind of just says like 4 space something. I'll put a picture of it up here. But from what I can decipher and based on the stitch count, what it actually means is 4 repeats of a single crochet and a decrease. So it's like 4 repeats of what the next thing is. But I'll have it written up so you guys can know. But yeah, let's take a look at this without the increases on it. And boy howdy, I would say this is French shaped. This is very, very spherical. If we compare it to our other two, here we have our stacked increases, and here, oh, not that one, get out of there. This one, we have our staggered. And yeah, I think even just from the visual up here, these two, so our staggered and our sphere one, look the most similar. You can really see how this one is a lot more angular now. But even between these two, if we kind of rotate them around, we get a more spherical shape from this one on the right. Is it extremely noticeable? No. In person, I would say that it's not extremely noticeable. If they're next to each other, you can really see it. But if I take this way and show you this, or this one and show you, I don't think you're really going to be able to see the difference. This was the sphere one, by the way. But yeah, another thing that I'd like to say about this sphere one is when we were talking about color work before, the color work for this one gets even crazy harder to do, because again, if we see where these increases are going to be, they're not lined up at all. So you're really going to have to plan out what you're doing. And that's the other kind of main visual difference that we get between doing this perfect sphere one versus one of these other ones. If we look at them, if you look kind of really closely, pay attention to the stitch pattern on these. The one on the left, so the staggered increase one, is going to have a stitch pattern that looks a lot more uniform. This one, you can, since you're going to be looking at this as you're making it, you're going to notice that the stitches don't really line up. And let me point these out in another way for you. So here on this staggered increase one, if we start at, let's see, the North Pole, the top, or where we did our increases, we can kind of follow the line. So there was an increase there, but this line just wants to continuously go down kind of in a slightly oblique pattern. Whereas if we look at this one, you can tell that, like, so first the line is going here, then it kind of buckles over to here, then it's buckling back down over to here, then I would say it kind of even buckles one more time and goes down. So again, that's going to really, really affect any kind of color work you're going to do on it, both from pole to pole and horizontally. What was that? Longitudinally and laterally? I don't know. I didn't do math. But yeah, those are our basic sphere primers. So now that we know all this, we're going to take all this information and use it to make these. So this is my first pattern and my first crochet along that I'm gonna release to you guys up in our next video, and we're gonna use everything that I've showed you so far, minus the foundation single crochets if that's out. But we're gonna be doing spheres. We are gonna be doing those split stitches, a lot of split stitches. And then we're gonna stuff them. So stay tuned for this bad guy. One thing that we can just see in action right now is, because these have the line, these Pokeballs, I can't do that perfect sphere shaped one, because the increases won't make this line straight. So we have to use one of the other versions. Trust me, when I was doing pattern testing for this, I tried to use the perfect sphere. Didn't go well. But yeah, so that's the video for spheres. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope the wait was worth it. And I will see you in the future with the Pokeballs. We got all of our balls going around, and yeah, please comment, like, subscribe, do all that stuff. Leave a message. Let me know what you want to see next, what kind of questions you have with crochet, maybe structures of different things, or just how to do certain stitches. I'm open. So until then, thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys later. Bye. Hope we're still recording. It's cats after hours. Cats after hours. We gotta clean up because it's cats after hours. And the button's not working. Turn it off. Bye.